Welcome back to another Valorant lore video from us, and this time we'll take a closer look at Jett, the most iconic duelist agent in the game. Lover or hater, she definitely has some interesting background behind her character. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're into Valorant, as we plan on doing some fantastic series in the future, as well as continuing with the lineups and lore videos. You definitely don't want to miss out on those. But back to the main point, let's talk about Jett and her lore story. Jett's real name is Han Sunwoo, and she originates from South Korea, more specifically from Seoul, which is the capital city. She worked there as a kitchen chef, which is confirmed by one of her in-game voice lines.
Feels like just yesterday I was chopping talle at the store. Wonder if that place is still standing.
That said, no wonder why her ability kit looks the way it does. In the restaurant business, you need to be super fast, and there will be a lot of knives involved. However, even though we don't know the exact background of her chef career, what we know is that she destroyed the restaurant she worked at, which was confirmed in the mail from Fade. Plus, we could also see that on one of the first player cards ever released, so it's not like Riot came up with it just now. There's probably much more background to it. But anyway, if you have such powers, the kitchen is not a good place for you to work, which is why the Valorant protocol has decided to recruit her as Agent 10. That said, let's move on from her chef career to the Agent one. For starters, some minor facts about Jett and her appearance. Jett is the youngest agent in the squad, along with Killjoy, which was confirmed by King Cut from Riot Games. Plus, she is also the second lowest in terms of height, and actually, until Neon came out, she was the shortest agent in the protocol. Of course, you can't see it in-game as it would ruin the balance, but you can definitely see it in the cinematics and official artwork. Jett is clearly one of the most wholesome characters in the protocol. She is always so happy and enthusiastic, and it's clear that she cares a lot about her mates. Jett always expresses love and affection towards the other agents, no exceptions really. You can see it on multiple player cards like Mementos Part 1 or Operation Vacation. She really likes the entire squad. The agent who is probably closest to her is Phoenix. The way these two talk with each other might suggest they're in a relationship. Not this time, lads. Even though they are low-key flirting, they're not in a romantic relationship. But psst, if you want to know which agents are together, make sure to check out the other Valorant lore videos. Anyway, it is actually not all sunshine and rainbows for Jett's lore story. For example, you may recognize the Duelist cinematic, in which Jett fights Phoenix and clearly tries to kill him. Knowing that he is Jett's best friend, you might think that she is some kind of psycho. However, it's not as easy as you might think. The version of Jett we see in the cinematic isn't actually Jett. It's her Mirror Earth version, which is evil. Besides powers and appearance, they don't have much in common. In fact, every agent has its own evil version from the Mirror Earth. Plus, it's also worth noting that the Duelist cinematic happened before Jett actually joined the Valorant protocol. So, Phoenix wasn't aware that she will be his best friend one day. Phoenix lost the battle with Jett's evil clone, which ends in Spike being detonated in Venice. And that makes the part of the city eventually form into the place we now know as the Ascent map. This whole incident is also why you might hear at one point that Jett is evil, but keep in mind that, well, it wasn't actually her. Even though the real Jett is not responsible for the events, she still feels guilty and wishes everyone would forget about it. Jett's evil clone also played a significant role in the Pearl map as seen on the Garden of Heroes Jett player card. She essentially helped to defend the city from a rising tide, and that guaranteed her that big statue that you can see from the Defender's spawn. The importance of all these evil clones seems to be much more significant with every episode and lore cinematic, and we can't wait to see where that will go. Let's also talk about Jett's importance in the Radiant War, and there are, unfortunately, theories that she hasn't survived it. On the Versus, KO, and Brimstone player card, we can see a Jett kunai knife lying in the dust, which clearly suggests Jett's death. However, it is not officially confirmed, and at the end of the day, it could also symbolize the death of her evil clone. However, for now, this will be it for Jett's lore story. Still, we think that there still is a lot to discover about her background and importance for the protocol. But for now, all we have to do is wait for Riot Games to reveal it. We hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to jam that sweet thumbs up button. Have a good one, TGG fam.